Hi everyone, welcome back to Art with Mrs. Alvarez. I'm Mrs. Alvarez and we have Lola.
Hi.
She's gonna help us pick something fun, so let's see what we have today. First with our adjectives. Make sure we have them in the right order today. Let's see.
A mean. No!
Okay, a mean. Let's see what's gonna be mean.
I don't want anything to be mean. Mean alien.
Oh, a mean alien. This is gonna be fun. Good choice.
if we picked a green alien, we would just be drawing an alien.
That would be too easy. Yes, a mean alien is more fun. So grab your paper and a piece of paper and we'll get started.
Bye.
Okay, you guys, let's get started on our mean alien. Now, normally we just draw our picture kind of in the middle of our page. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to make this into more of an illustration. So at the end of this, our alien is going to have some other things around him, and it's going to kind of tell a little bit of a story, okay? It's going to be a lot of fun, but we'll still take it super slow, okay? And we will still start with the alien. So we're gonna start with him. We're gonna do our alien down here in this corner, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do his eyes. Now, we want him to be looking up. So we're gonna draw two U's kind of at an angle. 1, 2, okay? So if you were to draw a line, it would be an angled line, okay? It's not like they're on a straight line, okay? So here's your two kind of tilted U's. Now, in order to make him look mean, we're gonna have to make him look kind of angry. So we're gonna have to kind of do a slant to his eyes. So you're gonna go from the inside corner in a diagonal up to the outside, like this. Okay? So do you see how it kind of slants up? This one I have to kind of fill in a little bit, okay? But that way it's almost like this one slanted down, this one slanted down this way. That'll help make him look angry, okay? And we'll add some more details to his face to help him look even more angry. Now, usually when I'm drawing kind of like a cute animal or some other type of like creature, I usually give it like a little circle inside for the highlight of his eye. But aliens have, I mean, I've never seen one. No one's ever actually seen one, but what I've seen in movies and pictures, they have like these big black eyes. So I'm going to do a different type of a highlight. So I'm going to do a stripe like this, kind of like a really long skinny V. And then I'm going to do one on this side, a long skinny V. Okay? It almost looks like a snake eye right now. But what we're going to do, instead of coloring this part, we want most of the eye to be black, and then you're just gonna leave your long skinny V white. That will be your alien's highlight of his eye. If you're already using black, you can go ahead and color it in like I am. Okay. Now, around the eyes, we're going to draw kind of like a curved shape, like a C shape. You're going to go up and around like this, okay? You want to do the same thing on the other side. Up and around. Now, let's draw his chin. And remember, he's looking up, so his whole head is going to be tilted. So in order to make it look like his head is tilted up, we're going to do his chin also at kind of like an angle, like we did the eyes, okay? So we're just gonna do a U shape here. Okay, but we're gonna leave a little space there in between the eye and the chin, okay? Because then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the top of the head. We're gonna go up and around and then connect it. Okay, so there's our alien's head. Let's add a few more details to help him look even more kind of mean. I'm gonna give him a frown. Let's give him 2 nostrils, 2 little dots. And then let's give him some lines kind of like in the middle of his forehead to make it look like he's really angry, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. You can do more if you want. Okay, so there's our alien's head. Now we're gonna draw a really long skinny body here, okay? So we're gonna do 2 lines here for his neck. And now from this side, we're gonna draw his hand on his hip. And it'll make sense at the end once you see what else we're gonna put into this picture. But in order to have his hand on his hip, you're gonna draw kind of like a V shape, but with a rounded edge, okay? So there's this long skinny arm going out. Now to draw his hand, I'm gonna make it super easy for you. We're not even gonna do fingers. We're just gonna do a line down and back up, kind of like a long skinny U again. My favorite letter. I'm always using that shape. Now let's go back up. We're gonna do the same shape that we did on this side of the elbow. And we're gonna do it pretty close so that he looks like he's really skinny. He has a really skinny arm. And then you're gonna stop right about there. Now we can draw the rest of his body. Now, depending on how much space you have, your alien might be taller or shorter than mine, okay? But basically from his neck, you're just gonna go down basically into a long straight line until about here. And then you're just gonna do a long curved line like that, kind of like a long skinny U. That's his little foot. We don't even have any toes or anything. We're making it super simple. Now you're gonna go back up until just about there, and then you're gonna stop. Now on the other side, let's draw his back. So from about here, where like his armpit would be, basically, you're gonna draw a line down. And you're gonna, once you hit the arm or the hand, you can jump over it, continue down, until you're about the same, you're like on the same line as this, okay? So when you reach about here, you're gonna do your other foot. Like that. And then you're gonna draw a line up, and then just kind of meet the other one, okay? Now the other arm, we're gonna have the other arm pointing to the ground, which I know sounds silly, but it'll all make sense in a few minutes once we finish. So we're gonna start about here. You're gonna draw a diagonal line like this. Then at the end, you're gonna do a few things. You're not gonna really draw fingers, but you are gonna go like this. Okay, so there's your long U. Then you're gonna go up like this, kind of like a bump, and then all the way back up. Okay, so this is supposed to give the impression of him like pointing to the ground, kind of like this, okay? Okay, so if you're wondering what he's pointing at, we are going to draw something up here, okay? Now, the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna draw, I'm gonna go about here, so almost towards the top. I'm gonna draw a big shape like this, kind of like an upside down tilted C, with a curved line at the bottom like this. Well, actually, mine ended up being straight, that's fine. And then underneath that, let's just make this into like a very skinny rectangle. So you're just gonna add 2 edges and then another line underneath. Okay. I'm gonna draw a few little dots on this. Okay. So this is gonna be a helmet. And what we're gonna do is that we're actually gonna draw a dog. Okay, we're gonna draw a dog with like a little space helmet. So to draw a cute little dog, the first thing let's do his nose. You're gonna do just a curved line like that. There's your U again. And you can do a little black oval at the end for his little nose if you want. Let's draw another U shape for his tongue. We're gonna have his tongue sticking out. And then you're gonna draw a line going back like this. Okay, just a tiny little line. This is like a tiny little picture of a dog. And then you can draw kind of like his chest area, kind of like that, with like a little bit of a curved line in the front. Let's give him an eye somewhere around there. Now this one will be kind of like my regular eye that I do. So you're going to do a circle with a little bit of a white dot in the middle. The top of his head, let's give it kind of like an upside down U. And for his ears, you're gonna do one ear like this, one ear like this. They can be floppy ears if you prefer. Mine are just kind of like regular dog ears. And then you can connect this ear, that line, to where the nose is. And then here, I'm gonna just do another line down like this. Okay. Now, we want to do just a little bit of his body down here. So you're just going to draw 2 lines, just like that, okay? Now what you're going to do, let's draw a curved line. I'm sorry, a straight line, just like this. Okay, not too big. And then on the ends, you're gonna do, you guessed it, another U. So a U on that side, a small U on this side. And then you basically want to connect the two, but of course our little astronaut dog is in the way, so we're gonna have to jump over him, okay? So to connect them, you can start on this side, you can Go like this, jump over him, and then continue, okay? If you're using black, you can actually color in this entire part. I'm gonna color it in just to kind of give you a chance to catch up if you need to, because I know that was a lot of steps to do our little dog, okay? Okay. So we're gonna actually draw this little guy in a spaceship. So that's what our alien is so mean about. That's what he's so angry about. He wants his dog to return the spaceship. The dog took it. And that's what this little picture is gonna tell the story of. Okay, so there's our dog inside of the spaceship. Let's actually draw the spaceship around him, right? So you're gonna start here, kind of like where his helmet is. You're gonna follow the same shape as this, okay? So you're gonna go out and around, okay? Now we wanna do the same thing on the other side. Out and around, and this time you can connect the two lines. Okay. Now we're gonna give this spaceship like a big dome, a big glass dome on it. So we're gonna draw a big upside down U like this. Okay. Now let's add a little bit of detail to the spaceship. From this edge, we're going to do a line down, and the same from this edge. And then you're going to connect them using the same curve that you did for this line. Okay, so watch me first if you need to. Okay, so I'm drawing my curve all the way from that side to that side. So it's going to kind of look like the edge of the spaceship, okay? And I'm going to draw some circles inside here. This will be like the lights, some flashing lights. And for the underneath of the spaceship, we're just going to do a simple curved shape like this, down and back up. Okay. Now we're almost done. We have a few more details. We're going to draw our ground. Okay. Now we're going to be on the moon. We're going to have this setting, the setting for this illustration be on the moon, okay? So we're going to do kind of like a scalloped line, which are kind of U shapes. And you can make some of them bigger, some of them really wide, some of them smaller. You just kind of want to go all the way from one side of your page to the other using all these different shapes, okay? Because we want it to look like kind of like the moon rocks all in the background, okay? And you can see I kind of had to do a little bit in between these two legs here because I wanted to make it really look like the moon is in the back, okay? Now let's put some more of these scalloped lines in the front too, okay? This would be called the foreground. That's the official vocab word for that, okay? So I'm just doing my scalloped lines randomly. Maybe so that it doesn't look like clouds, because right now it sort of looks like clouds. Maybe we can do a couple of lines. Maybe we can draw a couple of like jagged rocks or dots to make it look like sand. You can really use your imagination, okay? We've all seen pictures of the moon, but you can definitely use your imagination to make it whatever you want. Okay, kind of want to just have like a cool look to it. Okay, so I just added some texture, some interest to my ground by just kind of doing some lines, some dots, some different textures to it, okay? Now the final couple of things we're gonna do. Let's have, you know how, have you ever seen how spaceships can like beam down? Well, you haven't seen this in real life, obviously, but like in a book or a movie, have you seen how spaceships like beam down light and then they can suck up things from the ground? We're gonna have our dog doing that, okay? So from about these two spots, you're gonna draw a line going down, kind of in a diagonal, like that. And then on this side, you're gonna do the same thing, your diagonal. And if it is if your alien's arm gets in the way, just jump over it like you normally do, okay? Jump over it. Okay. Now, what do you think a dog would be trying to pull into the spaceship? I think it could be funny if he's trying to pull a bone into the spaceship, okay? So let's draw a little bone. You're gonna draw two straight lines. And at one end, you're gonna draw a bump and another bump, like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. A bump and another bump. Okay, so you see how this story is kind of unfolding, this like silly story. The final thing I'm going to do in order to really make this illustration come together and tell that story, I'm gonna do a speech bubble, okay? From here all the way kind of up here, because I have a lot of room right here, okay? So this is where I want my speech bubble to be. If you want your speech bubble to be smaller and you want to do it here, go ahead, okay? But I'm gonna do mine way up here. So for this, the speech bubbles usually have like two parts. They have a long V shape, skinny V shape. And then they have the bubble part, right? So for my bubble part, I'm gonna start from this side. I'm gonna go out, up, over, down and around, okay? I have mine kind of like a soft rectangle or like a rounded rectangle. Sometimes you may see speech bubbles that are more circular or oval, okay? So feel free to do whatever kind of speech bubble you want. Now, what do you think, what is your alien saying? Now, this is where you can also kind of, you know, use your own creativity. If you have something funny that you think he would be saying to the dog, now would definitely be the time to do that. I'm just gonna write bad dog with an exclamation point. Okay. So I'm just gonna write it big so that it really fills in this whole bubble. And I'm kind of using like just really big stretched out letters. Bad dog, exclamation point. Okay. So there is my picture. Now to color this, Now, normally, of course, I use markers, but since this is like a space background, I'm actually going to use paint because I love using paint to create like a space, kind of like galaxy looking background. The type of paint I'm going to use is gouache. Now, this is a water-based paint, kind of like watercolor paints, but it's actually much thicker than watercolor. But it dries pretty quickly, and it's really fun to use, okay? So of course, at home, you probably don't have gouache paints, so you can color with just marker or watercolor if you have it, whatever you want to use. And I will paint this in my gouache paints, and I will catch up with you guys at the end, okay? Okay, I'm just about done. I'm just cutting in for a minute just to tell you some of the finishing touches I'm gonna make on this. I have just this glitter paint that I'm going to put in the yellow area here just to kind of give it a little bit of something extra. I'm also gonna put white splatters, hopefully mostly in this area here to make it look like stars. And then I'm probably going to go over some of my lines in order to just make them a little bit darker with a black flare pen, okay? So I'm gonna speed it up again and I'll see you when I'm totally done. Okay, you guys, here is my finished painted illustration of our mean alien. If you stuck with me all the way to the end, you are a champion. It's amazing. This whole thing from start to finish actually took me 1 hour and 15 minutes. I know I speeded up or sped up a lot of the coloring part. But I just wanted to show you guys how cool gouache can look, how it really blends the colors, how it gives a really cool effect when you splatter that white paint. It really helps make it look like space, right? Maybe a little bit better than markers would. But hopefully yours came out amazing. I'd be curious to see if you put anything different here and anything different here, if your story is a little bit different than mine. But thanks, you guys. I'm so happy you joined me today, and I'll see you back here soon, okay? Bye.